My name is George Barris, and I'm here with probably the world's most famous automobile. Without a doubt, still number one after many, many decades, the famous television 1966 Batmobile. I'm proud to say that I was the designer and original builder of this automobile for a great television show with Dozier at 20th Century Fox called Batman. Adam West, Burt Ward, and many, many great stars. I have a lot of stories to tell you about this famous car. We had 3 weeks. When Dozier came to me with Bob Kane and Adam West, they said, "What can you give us for the 20th century in 1966? And with Dozier's concept of Batman with the pow and the bang and the wow, I had a car that would also go with the bings and the bangs and the same thing. We had to have rocket tubes. We had to have gas knobs. We had to have seat injectors. Also, to catch the Joker, we threw some oil out there so he would skid out. To catch the Briddler, we throw some nails out so it'd puncture his tires. Just to give you an idea of the crime-fighting implements that we had in the 60s compared to now in the year 2000. Bob Kane had a Batman car way back in the 40s when he created the comic strip with a bat face cut out in the front of a Lincoln Zephyr. I said, I want to incorporate the bat features into the car, not just a plaque stuck onto it. So I made the ears into the fenders. I made the lights become the headlights. I made the nose become the chain slicer. The grille extended out and it became part of the front end. Then from there it flowed on back where I had the 15-foot bat fin fingers in the back, which had the splices and the double bubble we had for both Adam and Burt Ward. I locked the doors shut and I made Burt and Adam both jump over the doors and into the fenders so that they get inside the car, just to give you an idea of something, again, different. Made them very athletic. That means they were really the crime fighters. We had to incorporate the injector seats so that if somebody went to steal the car, they had the wrong key, the wrong word, and then they would push the wrong buttons and we would just shoot them right out of the car. Of course, we elevated them with cables. Everything had to work, because we didn't have the electronics and the computers and the special effects that give you illusion on the screens like you do today. We had to make them actually operate, that when you seen the smoke, it was smoke. You seen the burner coming out of the back? Well, we didn't have the big force, great flames. We used kerosene, an igniter, and a fan to blow out the exhaust flames. I was in a show in a town called Fargo, North Dakota, and we were doing a press media shot. And I'm driving down the street with the press people, and all of a sudden, wow, 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 and I pull over, and this guy gets out. He says, "You have no windshield wipers on that car, and your taillights are not right." He says, "I'm going to impound that car." And I said, wait a minute, officer. We're just doing a test or a press shot for the TV, and I don't care what you're trying to say. He called a tow truck in, towed in the car, hauled me into the police station, and arrested me. We go before the judge, and the judge looks, and he looks at his officer, and he says, "Wilbur, do you realize what you did?" And he, "What do you mean?" He said, "You impounded the famous Batmobile, and you threw Mr. Barris in jail." He said, "I'm going to demote you to a dog catcher." In reminiscing about the movie was kind of a lot of fun, because we had more time to make adaptations. Because this car weighs 6,000 pounds. That's 3 tons, to give you an idea of the difference in the weight. The engine, big old Ford. Well, and in fact, the car started out as an experimental Lincoln Futura. That's the first thing everybody asked me. What was it? Was it a Pontiac? Was it a T-Bird? Was it a Chevy? Experimental Lincoln Futura. I mean, it was a concept car. It was never a production car. We actually took the car from a scene called Started Without a Kiss with Debbie Reynolds and Glenn Ford, where I used the car in the first implement of the shows, which was another movie. From there, from the 3 weeks I had to build the automobile, we created the Batmobile. This is the #1 car. We had to build 5 of them. The reason why is that each car had to do a different thing. The stunt car was #5 car. It did all the chases and the jumps and all that. The #4 car was the race car. That was the car that had drag racing scenes against our famous Green Hornet, Van Williams and Bruce Lee. The #3 car was an exhibition car. It was the one that was used for exhibition. #2 car was a double for the #1 car. But the car had to start somewhere before it really went into the full-size car. And actually, we have the model. This little model here was made where we would be able to get the size and the spectra scenes that we're able to use also through some of the filming. And it was in scale, actually a third size. Here we are, 35 years or more later, and still in more demand than any of the other famous movie and TV cars.